Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome back to the most complete spoken English course on YouTube, where you learn English through stories, real situations, and powerful emotions. No boring grammar, no textbooks, and no pressure. Just listen, speak out loud, and let the language flow through you. Today's story is called Why I Almost Dropped Out of University. Let's begin. It all started during my second year at university. My name is Daniel, and I was studying computer engineering. People often assume that tech students are quiet, focused, and socially awkward. Well, I wasn't exactly the exception. I kept my circle small, didn't go to parties, and mostly focused on lectures and projects. At first, everything seemed fine. I passed all my first-year classes with good grades. But in the second year, everything changed. The professors were tougher, the assignments were longer, and I had less time to breathe. I wasn't sleeping properly, barely eating, and my social life was non-existent. One specific course, data structures, was my worst nightmare. The professor, Dr. Thompson, was brilliant but brutal. He had zero tolerance for mistakes. He expected perfect code, clean logic, and weekly assignments that took over 20 hours to complete. I began to dread going to his class. One Monday, I overslept and missed his lecture. That same day, he gave out a surprise quiz. Anyone who missed it got an automatic 0. That crushed me. I tried to talk to him afterward, but he just said, "Responsibility is part of being a professional." I walked away feeling completely defeated. Things got worse. I had a group project for another class where no one pulled their weight. I ended up doing most of the work, staying up 3 nights in a row with barely any sleep. On the day of the presentation, my voice cracked, my slides froze, and one of my group members openly said, "Daniel didn't send me the final draft." That was a lie. And the professor deducted points from my grade. I walked back to my dorm, locked the door, and sat in the dark for over an hour. I was exhausted. Physically, mentally, emotionally. I felt like I had hit a wall. I couldn't even remember why I wanted to become a software engineer in the first place. That night, I opened my laptop, went to the university website, and searched for the withdrawal process. I even filled out the form halfway. But then I stopped. My roommate, Marcus, knocked on the door and walked in with a sandwich. "Eat something, man," he said. "You look like you haven't eaten in days." I took the sandwich silently. He sat on my bed and said, "You know, everyone thinks you're a machine. You always get things done. But even machines break down. Maybe you just need to pause, not quit." That hit me hard. The next day, I went to the counseling center on campus. I had never been to therapy before, but I figured it couldn't hurt. The counselor listened to me for over an hour. I told her everything: the stress, the pressure, the fear of failing. She didn't give me a miracle solution, but she told me something simple. You're allowed to struggle. Just don't let the struggle define you. I started attending weekly sessions. I also spoke with Dr. Thompson again. This time, I approached him not as a student begging for mercy, but as a human being asking for understanding. He surprised me by saying, "I had a hard time in school too. I push students because I want them to be strong." Things slowly started to get better. I set limits for myself. I stopped pulling all-nighters. I started asking for help. I learned how to say no to unreasonable group work. And most importantly, I reminded myself why I started this journey. Not for the grades, not for the job, but because I love solving problems and building things that matter. By the end of the semester, I passed data structures with a C+, and I was proud of it. That C+ meant more to me than any A I had ever earned. It meant I stayed. I didn't drop out. I paused, regrouped, and kept moving. And if you're listening to this and going through something similar, remember, you're not alone. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep going. Now, it's time for your quiz. Remember to answer the questions out loud. You'll have 5 seconds after each question to respond. Let's begin. What was Daniel studying at university? He was studying computer engineering. What changed during his second year? The professors were tougher, assignments were longer, and stress increased. Which class gave him the most trouble? Data structures, taught by Dr. Thompson. What happened when he missed a lecture? He missed a surprise quiz and got an automatic 0. Why was Daniel frustrated with his group project? Because he did most of the work and was unfairly blamed by a group member. What did Daniel do when he hit his lowest point? He sat in the dark and considered withdrawing from university. What stopped him from submitting the withdrawal form? His roommate Marcus brought him food and encouraged him not to quit. Where did Daniel go for help the next day? He went to the counseling center on campus. How did Dr. Thompson respond to Daniel's second approach? He said he pushes students to make them stronger and admitted he struggled in school too. What grade did Daniel get in the course, and how did he feel about it? He got a C+ and felt proud because it meant he kept going. Now, let's go over some key vocabulary from the story. We'll break down a few less common words and phrases used earlier. Dread, to feel fear or anxiety about something in the future. Example, I dread going to the dentist. Crushed, feeling emotionally devastated. Example, she was crushed when her pet ran away. Defeated, feeling like you've lost or failed. Example, after the final exam, I felt completely defeated. Withdrawal process, the formal way to leave or drop out of a university. Example, he began the withdrawal process after failing 3 classes. Counseling center, a place where students can get help with mental health or emotional issues. Example, she made an appointment at the counseling center. Struggle, to have difficulty with something. Example, he struggled to balance school and work. Regroup, to pause and gather your strength before continuing. Example, after the mistake, the team regrouped and made a new plan. Unreasonable, not fair or too demanding. Example, the deadline was unreasonable, so we asked for an extension. Pause, not quit, a motivational idea meaning take a break, not give up completely. Example, sometimes it's okay to pause, just don't quit. Define you, to shape your identity. Example, failure doesn't have to define you. Thank you so much for watching this video until the end. You're doing something powerful by learning English through real-life stories. If you found this lesson helpful, don't forget to give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Docentes DigitalesTV for more amazing stories that help you speak English fluently and confidently. See you in the next video.